First one who came had a recent bypass. The cardiologist refused. The next one, the patient refused. So I'm still waiting, but in the meantime, they gave this debate. So I thought, let me see what is the situation actually. And the fact is, yes, I mean, it is devastating. Usually, the treatment is ineffective. But I didn't realize this part. The course is unpredictable. Amazingly, it is not a dismal course. It is an unpredictable course. And this is exactly what I have faced, where I thought that my CRAO is gone, the patient is roaming around with 3/60 vision. So that is the basic problem. And yes, we have lots of options, but do they work? About digital massage and paracentesis, one advantage, you can immediately do it in the OPD setting. You don't have to run around to the OT or you don't have to make any, even if, supposing you are not able to arrange the OT, even if you do it in the OPD, nobody will say anything. There's no delay in response time. Anecdotally, it seems to work. Is it better than vitrectomy? Well, it's safer, definitely. More economical? Yes. Less time consuming? Very much so. Is it equally effective? Let's see. Now, I'm not the only one who's saying Hare is the guru. Nishikant also has quoted him. This is Hare's actual study. He actually divided CRAO into non-arthritic and arthritic, and within the non-arthritic, he's given 3 different types with varying levels of patients who improved, varying who remained stable, and the most difficult part is they're unpredictable. You don't know who's going to improve, who's not going to improve, and anecdotally, many will. Now, what does Hare say? You know, if I say Dinesh Talwar says, there's so many big bosses over here, they say, who is Dinesh Talwar? So let's see what does Hare say. He's the guru for vascular disorders. He says, one or a combination of these modes have been tried, including massage, reduction of by paracentesis, vasodilatation, oxygen, etc., etc. He said, except for massage, which occasionally dislodges the embolus, there is no evidence to show that the rest show benefit. Why? Because it can improve on its own. Then he actually talks about Nishikant. I mean, Hare is talking about Nishikant, and he says, look, I've been told Nishikant has been doing this, and these low pressure settings, and you can dislodge the emboli and all. He says, this is Hare. You know, I am nobody to say this. He says, there is no scientific validity for this. And I have discussed this. He's given his references for that. But this is also what he says. He says, I also know there's another paper from China. He says, but the major problems with those were, they said retinal circulation was restored in 4, but visual improved in 6. So what happened in the other 2? Improved on their own. More importantly, when you do the procedure 24 hours to 6 days later, the damage has already occurred. So where is it coming from? Now, if it is coming, it is actually coming because the natural history is such that some patients will improve, others will not improve, and we are taking advantage of that. So he's actually been given very strong words. I consider this practice based on ignorance. Unfortunate that such a scientifically misleading paper can get published. He's talking about the Chinese one, not yours. Even more unfortunately, that such financially rewarding procedures get perpetuated by vitreoretinal surgeons at no benefit to the poor patient. Well, I wasn't considering doing it for the finance. I was thinking it would be a great thing if it worked. And I'm sure that's what is one of the things. But the problem is it does cost money to the patient. Now, the Eagle study which you quoted, Nishikant, I'm not bothered about the results. It didn't work. It worked to the same degree. But what is important is that 60% of patients on conservative treatment experience more than 3-line vision improvement. Imagine, which is what you're talking about. That's the kind of result you've shown, and that result occurs without doing anything. So, you can have all those results without any particular intervention also. So are we taking advantage of the natural course to claim success of our surgical intervention? Is it possible, because I have great respect for Nishikant and I believe that there's no way we are doing this to fool anybody, but are we being fooled by nature into believing that we are achieving something when actually what we get is nature's bounty to us? So, so, so April Fool, हम नहीं बना रहे हैं, nature बना रही है. And this is what we have to avoid, that can we, before we say that this is working, we may, of course, patient comes within 24 hours, definitely we must try, but we must keep it in mind that this may or may not be the way out. Thank you.
Dinesh, one minute for you.
Yes.
No, otherwise also. Okay. The very fact that you were waiting for a CRAO speaks that you want to try it. Okay. The natural history does improve, but if you read it carefully, it is eccentric vision in the periphery. So it is never going to be better than 660. So a natural history does improve. All the patients do well, though no one goes blind totally. Most of the time, there are very severe cases where, of course, they are left only with PL. But there are patients who come with, say, finger coding 4 feet, 5 feet, but only when they look in one corner. It's never going to be a central vision. And if central vision, I feel, is the most important, and that's the reason why we treat CNVMs. Why don't we leave it as a natural history? That is because we want the central vision, and that's why CRAO treatment is so important, because the central vision, 660, 636, 664, is not going to come in by natural course. It's going to come only by surgical intervention.
Okay. Thank you, Nishikant. Point one.
Can I have a question? How many of them you operated within the 6 hours window period? Maybe less than that.
Yeah, I have operated one within 6
How
hours.
is the result compared to the others?
She got 6/6 vision.
That's it. That's the important thing, because you have to get in within that first analytical hour.
Yeah, so the point is, point one, I think what Nishikant just said, vision doesn't go down to PL positive. A vision of PL positive in a case of CRO means you got an ophthalmic artery occlusion. This is without any doubt. The normal visual acuity that you get is in terms of counting finger. Number two, the recovery that occurs starts occurring and will start occurring over a period of next 3 days to a week. The important thing, and this is now I'm going to tell you from a personal experience, I am living with this patient now for the last 1 month and living in pain. The pain is that this patient got a CRAO on the table. Like I was operating for an RD, and the moment I did the indirect, I saw that there was a CRAO there. I did a paracentesis, stat. The artery opened up completely. And after that, throughout the period of the surgery, the pressure was low and stayed low till the next day. And the next day, patient had counting finger vision with a cherry red spot. Now, I would have thought that this patient will recover. This was within 24 hours. We did a fluorescein angiography and it showed a completely perfused retina. And there was no delay in AV transit time. And the patient is roaming around with counting finger 3-meter vision. Why? The reason I'm giving you this example is you cannot predict which patient is going to go down, which patient is going to improve. At the same time, I'll tell you another patient. I was in Venice, and I got a phone call from the patient saying, we are with another of my colleagues, and he's saying that you need a vitrectomy. He had seen the video too. I said, today is the second day. How much is the vision? He says, yesterday it was counting finger, today it is 3/60. I said, wait till tomorrow. The next day it was 6/60. I said, wait. The patient is 6/6 today. He would have underwent a vitrectomy on that day and be quoted as one of the successes of Nishikant's surgery. So what I'm trying to point out is both the sides are there. I have 2 cases, one where I expected the patient will do well because the perfusion was back, and the second where I said wait, and the patient came back to 6/6, but otherwise would have been operated on at that time, because at that time the vision was counting fingers. So I'm not saying don't do the procedure. Nishikant, I am still waiting for the patient who I would. But what I'm saying is that what we need to do is and one person won't be able to get enough cases. We need to create a registry of all the cases which are done in the country over the next 1 year, and then see, is there a difference between the natural course and this. Till we do that, we will end up using anecdotes to quote success. It looks very good that I saved a doctor from going blind, but how do we know that doctor would not have otherwise got that vision? That's one problem. The second thing is, where I have left because he was okay, like you would have also left, I suppose. If you saw normal perfusion, would you have still done the surgery? No, so you wouldn't have, no. So I saw normal perfusion. I was actually going to take this patient up for surgery, but I didn't take him up for surgery because of normal perfusion, and I've still lost the patient. And I'm struggling with the loss, believe me. You know, so that's why I'm saying.
Thank you, Dinesh. I think we need to.
The whiteness comes from the inner layers, not from outer layers. Okay, I think we